Donald Trump's America First agenda resonated with many Americans, capturing the hopes and dreams of a nation seeking to reclaim its former glory. It promised to revitalize American manufacturing, bring back jobs that had been lost to overseas competition, and restore the country's economic dominance on the global stage. The core message was clear: prioritize American workers and businesses above all else, ensuring that the benefits of economic growth were felt by all citizens. This resonated deeply with those feeling left behind by globalization, fueling support for policies like tariffs and trade barriers. These tariffs, presented as a way to protect American industries and jobs, were a cornerstone of this agenda, promising to level the playing field. The Trump administration imposed tariffs on goods from several countries, most notably China, aiming to curb what it saw as unfair trade practices. The stated goal was to shield American businesses from unfair competition and encourage domestic production, fostering a self-reliant economy. However, the reality of tariffs is far more complex than their simple appeal. They can lead to higher costs for consumers and retaliatory measures from other countries. While they might appear to offer short-term benefits to specific industries, their long-term consequences can be detrimental to the very people they aim to help, leading to job losses and economic instability. This essay will explore the irony of using tariffs to achieve America First goals, demonstrating how they ultimately undermine the American economy and contradict the agenda's core principles, revealing the complexities of global trade. Tariffs are essentially taxes imposed on imported goods. They make these goods more expensive for consumers, thereby making domestically produced alternatives more attractive. In theory, this can protect domestic industries from foreign competition, allowing them to grow and create jobs. Governments have historically used tariffs to protect nascent industries, safeguard national security, and influence the behavior of other countries. They can be used as bargaining chips in trade negotiations, compelling other countries to lower their own trade barriers or adopt more favorable policies. However, tariffs are a double-edged sword. While they might offer a temporary shield to certain industries, they inevitably lead to higher prices for consumers, reduced choices in the market, and retaliation from trading partners. This can trigger a trade war, where countries engage in a series of escalating tariffs, ultimately harming all parties involved. Tariffs might seem like a distant economic policy, but their impact is felt directly in the wallets of everyday Americans. These taxes on imported goods can ripple through the economy in ways that are often unseen but deeply felt. When tariffs are imposed on imported goods, businesses that rely on those goods have to pay more for them. This isn't just a minor inconvenience. It can significantly affect their bottom line. This increased cost is then passed on to consumers in the form of higher prices for everything from washing machines to clothing. Everyday items that people need become more expensive, stretching household budgets thin. This means that even if a product is assembled in the United States, the components used in its production might be subject to tariffs, making the final product more expensive. The interconnected nature of global supply chains means that tariffs can affect a wide range of products. This effectively reduces the purchasing power of American families, leaving them with less money to spend on other goods and services. Over time, this can lead to a decrease in overall economic activity. Furthermore, tariffs can limit consumer choices. With fewer imported goods available, the variety of products on store shelves diminishes. When foreign goods become more expensive, consumers might be forced to choose from a smaller pool of domestically produced alternatives, which might not be of the same quality or offer the same variety. This can lead to dissatisfaction and a sense of being shortchanged. This lack of competition can also lead to higher prices and reduced innovation in the long run. Without the pressure to compete with foreign products, domestic producers may have less incentive to improve their offerings. The interconnected nature of the global economy means that many American businesses rely on global supply chains. They import raw materials, components, or finished goods from other countries to produce their own products or services. Tariffs disrupt these intricate networks, increasing costs and creating uncertainty for American businesses. For example, a manufacturer of automobiles might import steel from a country subject to tariffs. The increased cost of steel will force the manufacturer to either absorb the cost, cutting into their profits, or increase the price of their vehicles, making them less competitive. This can lead to job losses, as businesses are forced to scale back production or even shut down. The irony is that while tariffs are often touted as a way to protect American jobs, they can end up doing the opposite by harming the very businesses that employ American workers. Casualties of trade wars, steel, agriculture, and beyond. The impact of tariffs is not theoretical, it has real-world consequences for specific American industries. These consequences ripple through the economy, affecting not just the industries directly targeted by tariffs, but also those that depend on them. The steel industry, for example, might experience a temporary boost from tariffs on imported steel as domestic production becomes more competitive. But this often comes at the expense of other industries that rely on steel as an input, such as automotive and construction sectors, which face higher costs. Similarly, the agricultural industry, a major exporter of goods like soybeans and pork, has been significantly hurt by retaliatory tariffs imposed by other countries in response to US tariffs. These retaliatory measures have led to decreased demand and lower prices for American agricultural products, making it difficult for farmers to sustain their livelihoods. This has led to decreased demand and lower prices for American agricultural products, putting a strain on farmers and ranchers across the country. The strain is felt not just in the fields, but also in rural communities that depend on agriculture for their economic well-being. The technology sector, reliant on global supply chains for components and software, is also vulnerable to disruptions caused by tariffs. These disruptions can stifle innovation, increase costs, and make it harder for American tech companies to compete in the global marketplace. These disruptions can stifle innovation, increase costs, and make it harder for American tech companies to compete in the global marketplace. The ripple effects of tariffs are far-reaching, impacting not just the targeted industries, but the broader economy. In the end, the casualties of trade wars are not just numbers on a balance sheet. They are real people, real businesses, and real communities struggling to adapt to a rapidly changing economic landscape. A global tit-for-tat retaliation and escalation. One of the most significant risks of imposing tariffs is the likelihood of retaliation from other countries. When one country raises tariffs, it is common for trading partners to respond in kind, targeting goods that will inflict economic pain on the original aggressor. This can trigger a tit-for-tat escalation of tariffs, leading to a trade war. Trade wars are detrimental to all parties involved, as they disrupt global trade, increase prices for consumers, and create uncertainty in the global economy. Businesses become hesitant to invest, consumers hold back on spending, and economic growth slows down. Furthermore, trade wars can damage diplomatic relations between countries, making it more difficult to cooperate on other important issues like climate change, security, and global health. The erosion of trust and goodwill can have long-lasting consequences that extend far beyond the realm of economics. The high cost of protectionism, a legacy of economic harm. History has repeatedly demonstrated the pitfalls of protectionism, the economic policy of shielding domestic industries from foreign competition through measures like tariffs. While protectionist policies might seem appealing in the short term, they often lead to long-term economic harm. The Great Depression of the 1930s, for example, was exacerbated by a wave of protectionist measures implemented by countries around the world. These measures, intended to protect domestic industries, ultimately deepened the economic crisis and prolonged the suffering of millions. Protectionism creates inefficiencies in the market, stifles innovation, and reduces consumer welfare. It sends a signal to businesses that they do not need to compete on a level playing field, which can lead to complacency, lower quality goods, and higher prices. Beyond tariffs, smarter strategies for American growth. The pursuit of America First goals does not necessitate the use of harmful policies like tariffs. There are alternative strategies that can promote economic growth, create jobs, and improve the lives of American workers without resorting to protectionism. Investing in education and workforce development is crucial. By equipping American workers with the skills and knowledge they need for the jobs of the future, the US can maintain its competitive edge in the global economy. Improving infrastructure such as roads, bridges, and broadband internet access can reduce transportation costs for businesses, facilitate trade, and attract investments. Rebuilding trust diplomacy over discord. Instead of engaging in trade wars, the US should prioritize diplomacy and cooperation with other countries. Working within the framework of the World Trade Organization, the US can address legitimate concerns about unfair trade practices and work towards a more rules-based system that benefits all countries. Building strong relationships with allies and partners can also help to level the playing field in international trade and create new opportunities for American businesses and workers. This approach, based on dialogue and collaboration, is more likely to achieve lasting results than unilateral actions that alienate trading partners. Investing in America, education, infrastructure, and innovation. Ultimately, the best way to achieve America First goals is to invest in America itself. This means investing in education, infrastructure, and innovation, creating an environment where American businesses can thrive and American workers can prosper. By fostering a dynamic and competitive economy, the US can reclaim its position as a global leader in innovation, entrepreneurship, and economic opportunity. This approach, focused on strengthening the foundations of the American economy, is a far more sustainable and effective path to achieving America First than the illusory promises of protectionism alone. If you found this video insightful, please subscribe to our channel, like this video, and share it with your friends. Together, we can build a better future for America.